Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Keith, and I just want to tell you how much I don't enjoy following you, ever, to the podium. But I do want to thank both Keith and Sheriff Katusian and my partner in crime, the Lieutenant Governor, and our cabinet and the many members of our administration who are here today, and I want to thank all of you for coming as well. When you think about this, 10 years ago, when Deborah Robbins and the folks at Jane Doe decided to adopt this idea, which had been something that had started in other parts of the world, there was a very small group that got together in that first white ribbon celebration here in the Commonwealth. And if you look around today, it's pretty clear that this is something that has sustained the test of time and will continue to grow and continue to grow on a go-forward basis. And that's a really good thing. And I'll say why for a couple of reasons. There are a lot of people in this room who probably weren't even born 25 years ago. How many people weren't born 25 years ago? I almost hate asking a question like that. Before that, for me anyway, and this is when I was working for Governors Weld and Cellucci, the idea of domestic violence and sexual assault was an idea. Okay, I'd never come face to face with someone who had been a victim of domestic violence. And I went out with Lieutenant Governor Cellucci to visit a shelter in Framingham. Now, Lieutenant Governor Paul Cellucci was somebody who put this issue on the map here in the Commonwealth as Lieutenant Governor. He created the first domestic violence council in Massachusetts. He attended and chaired every single meeting. He fought for legislation and funding to support women who were dealing with batterers, and he supported and fought for money and programming to help batterers deal with their demons and their issues. Long before anybody else was talking about this issue, the Lieutenant Governor was talking about it. So we went out and we visited a program, and I had a chance for the first time to meet someone who had been battered. She's about this tall. She didn't weigh 100 pounds. She had the remains of what had been an obvious contusion on the side of her face. She was missing almost all of her teeth on the side of her mouth. And she talked quietly about the horrible, terrible path that she'd been down that had ended with this beating and the arrest of the batterer. The Lieutenant Governor was incredibly gracious in his dealing with her. And after we talked to her for a while, he said, Why didn't you go to the authorities? Why didn't you talk to somebody sooner? It's a really hard question to ask somebody in that situation. And she said, I didn't think anybody would care. Nobody would understand, and nobody would do anything about it. Now, that particular moment has really never left me, which is why it's so important for all of you to not just model the behavior that represents what it means to be a human and to respect and understand the dignity of every other human, but to appreciate the fact that, believe it or not, despite all the great work that Jane Doe and others have done over the course of the past 25 years, there are still folks on the receiving end of domestic violence and sexual assault who feel completely alone, don't know who to talk to or where to go, and even if they did, might not, because they wonder and worry about whether anybody would care, or perhaps what the consequences would be if they talked. Awareness, self-awareness, general awareness, and a willingness to speak up and speak out about this among your friends, your classmates, your family members. Don't ever underestimate the power of speaking up and speaking out and engaging. Because God forbid someday somebody you know who's sitting in the middle of the hell that woman was going through may or may not have the courage to talk to you, to reach out to you. What if the person who's on the other end of this is somebody who's part of your community? What if she worries about whether it's going to be her word against his? What if she's simply afraid to kick open the can and deal with the consequences that comes with putting that out into the public domain? People think about awareness as kind of a generic term. High level, can't really feel it. But if you're one of those people who's looking for permission to reach out and grab onto somebody who can help them deal with the desperation of the moment they find themselves in, awareness may be the thing they grab onto that provides them with the courage to talk and to reach out and to take a chance. 25 years ago, a concept became a person for me. Your work in this space, your willingness to speak out, your willingness to be aware, your willingness to participate in events like this, and to give people you know permission to talk about this if they need to or they have to. Don't underestimate the power of that. Because for somebody who feels trapped and cornered, it may be the only thing left for them to grab onto. And that's why events like this are so important. The Lieutenant Governor, following in the footsteps of her mentor, Paul Cellucci, reestablished the Governor's Council on Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence, put a great group of people together, and they're working this issue, and they're working it hard. And a big part of why so many people in our administration are involved in this issue is because Karen Polito simply refuses to let them not be involved. Right? But today what we really want to do, what I want to do, Karen, could you come up for a sec? I just want to present this proclamation to the folks at Jane Doe I won't bother to read you. There's a lot of whereases in here. But what you really need to know and understand is this is in some ways a celebration of 10 years worth of hard work to build the message around White Ribbon Day here in the Commonwealth of Mass. So now, therefore, I, Charles D. Baker, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim March 1st, 2017, to be White Ribbon Day and urge all citizens of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance, and keep this in mind always, so that if somebody needs your help, they will feel they have the permission to reach out and talk. Thank you.